Okay, Harley. So, you asked me like about myself. Now it's my turn to ask about you, we met at this like community meetup for online entrepreneurs, and I saw what you were doing was really interesting. I was like in my lane, in terms of like the growth operating on how you help like certain like personal brands and coaches like scale and monetize.
Mm.
So I just want to know, because you are also like fairly young, like do you mind like
24.
24 right
Yeah.
now, and you've had good amount of success online right now, so I think it'd be really inspiring for people to know your story as well. So
Mm.
you could just like walk me through like which year and when did you start and how did you start.
Yeah, so um like the best way to say it for me, and I'd have to like kind of like dive a little bit deeper than that, was like growing up, right? Like growing up, I would be with my family, I would be with my friends, but like I knew I was just different, but I never really understood that. And like even in like high school and stuff like that, I was like very introverted. I didn't really do anything other than play video games. But like in school, like my school, there was something called like student of the term. So like each term, whether that be like 3 to 4 months, I would always win something. Like I was always the best at something, but I never tried.
Like what, like academics or like sports
Yeah,
or
so
like.
it could be like a subject. It could be English. It could be history. I would always win, but like I wasn't like revising, studying a lot. I would just always win
Mm.
because I would just do the work. I just and clearly did it to a good enough standard where I would always win. So like I always understood that there was something in my brain that was different, but I feel like maybe I just wasn't given the best. I just didn't know how to express it, let's say. So like during like high school years, I wasn't like I didn't behave badly or anything like that. But like growing up as a teenager in England, there's not really much to do. So I would like fall on like video games and I quickly became like very good at those. I didn't ever pursue it like professionally, but I was always like very good at things that required brain power. So like I just kind of followed the route that I was told. Like I just grew up in a normal working class family. Didn't have like nothing. Like there was food in the fridge, but it wasn't like to the point where we were like shit, like we have to live outside. Like we had a roof over our heads, we had food, but like from a young age my dad used to always tell me like when he was growing up that sometimes they wouldn't even get Christmas gifts. So it was like I kind of had a lot of beliefs installed into me that like, oh, like the only way that I can succeed is by getting a job. So I did high school. I didn't have to study for any exams. I passed pretty much all of them.
Did you have like flying colors sort of grades or
It
like.
was just like I didn't study, but I just
Ah,
passed. I didn't have to try. I just
okay,
passed. Like I
okay.
didn't study. Like I when I mean I didn't study, like I just turned up to the exams and passed them.
So you're that type of student who can do that kind of stuff. I know a
Yeah.
few people who are like that.
Yeah, like I've always just been like I can put in minimal effort but get better results than everyone, well than most people. But if I do put in maximum effort, the results are way better than anyone else. So I got all the grades I needed to get. I got into college, and everyone told me, "Oh, you should go be an electrician." Like that's like great because you'll never be out of work. Like we spoke about in the home improvement and stuff. Something's always going wrong in someone's house, so they were like, "That's how you make money." So I did. I went to college for 1 year, and whilst I was at college, I you don't know this about me. I actually applied to join the Air Force.
Oh,
So I was going to join the Royal Air Force in England. I
wow.
was going to be what was known as a cyberspace communication specialist. So same thing as normal. I turn up to the exam, don't revise, and I passed it well enough to get like one of the higher roles
Like why? Why so random?
because I just thought like the money was good, to be
Okay,
honest. And it
okay.
was only maybe like £20,000 a year, but like for someone at my age, that was classed as good in society. But I quickly found out, so I went there for like a week to like try it out and like get an idea of what it was like. I soon found out I do not like being told what to do,
Mm.
and someone else having authority over to me, and I just have to obey. So I quickly found out that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So like being told to march around, get up at a certain time wasn't for me. So I left that, went back to college, and I finished my studies. So in England, you can just go to high school, then go to college, and then there's university after, but you don't have to go. College is free.
Mm-hmm.
So I passed college and then got an apprenticeship. So an apprenticeship is just like an internship in England. So I was then an electrician. I was getting paid maybe $1,500, $1,600 a month. I was like, wow, I've made it, you know, I made it. And I went through that phase of what we spoke about earlier when you first get some money. I was blowing that. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I can now go Gucci, I can go buy a bag. Like, this is amazing. Because, like, during that period of time, I was like severely, let's call it insecure. So I was like, well, if I wear all of these nice clothes, I'll feel better about myself. I found out that doesn't work. So I got rid of that stigma at an early age. And then, so maybe like 17, 18, I'm like making this £1,200 a month. I get my first girlfriend ever. And then I think COVID hit actually. And then like I see all these people selling courses and stuff. And I was like, great. Like I can buy this course and I can make this money. And then
See.
I started off with Forex. So I started with Forex. I joined a Signals group, and I remember like I put like £2,000 in the account and then blew it
How did you blow it? Like,
because they tell you to buy and sell, but they don't tell you how much to put on the trade. So like I was just like blowing my money because I'd lose a bit of money and be like I need to make it back, and then I put more money into it and then lose it. So I'm like I basically joined a bit of a scammy course,
mm.
got a really bad stigma around that, and then I'm like, cool, what else can I do? Drop shipping. I'm gonna do drop shipping. So then I bought this like £200 laptop off Amazon, trying to do drop shipping on this really bad laptop. The worst, the worst website you've ever seen in your entire life because I bought some really bad course off a guru who actually got exposed because he went from selling drop shipping to then selling trading. So he was just selling courses, you know, like he didn't actually have any experience. So I basically spent like a few years bouncing from different things because I was getting low key scammed. And I was like, damn, this is like really bad. So I persistently failed and bought courses for like 3 years.
Wow.
But like I was learning skills, I was learning things. So then something
So
happened.
3 years no money.
Yeah, but I was
What?
still working the job.
So that shows you a lot. That is why you're successful right now because you have the grit. How
Yeah.
many people can fail for 3 years straight with no sign of success? Extremely few, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So I failed for probably like 2, 3 years, and then I moved out with my partner, and then I basically soon came to realize that the money I was making each month was basically I was left with basically nothing. So like the money I was making, I couldn't live. I basically couldn't live.
Then how do you survive? Like
I figured it out.
you figured it
So like I then was like, well, I've learned these skills. Clearly, I might be able to do something with it, right? And like during this period, I was uh, in England. There's a really big Snapchat community. So like Snapchat is like probably the number one app. So I download Snapchat, and like I will see like people shout each other out and be like, "Oh, this guy's good for this guy's good for that." Add them, and then you'll see people like in the entrepreneurial world providing value, etc. And I basically decided, okay, let me like add these people on Snapchat. And I see this one guy one day called Nero Knowledge, and he's talking about really high level stuff. Like I'm talking like metaphysics, similar stuff to like what you're talking about, self identity, visualization, manifestation, like very very high level stuff for someone who's just working a job. So I add this guy on Snapchat, and uh, I I believe I took his mentorship. which basically in his mentorship was removing the limiting beliefs that were instilled in me as a kid. So he really dove into my childhood and was like, this is what you've been programmed. This is how we're going to remove it. This is like the way you need to think. Like he does like a lot of manifestation techniques.
But
or
was
like
it one-on-one or was it like a course?
one-on-one, yeah. So like he like sits down and he's like, right, okay, like if you want to get this goal, you need to visualize it, you need to think from the end. And it's a lot of like what Conor McGregor talks about, like your inner beliefs, like your inner system, like making sure that like you're just telling yourself, like delusionally telling yourself, like this has happened, and you start feeling the emotions, etc. So I
Okay.
go through his program, and then one day he posts a job on Snapchat, and he's like, I need a social media manager, and I'm like, cool. I've spent all these money on courses. I definitely know how to do this. So then I hop on a call with him, and like it's a sales call basically. I hop on a call with him. I don't know what's going on. I'm just talking to him, having a conversation. He's like, I need this. Can you do it? Yeah, 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 yeah. And we get to the end of it. The call ends, and I realize that he needs me to edit videos for him. I don't know how to edit videos. Do you want to know what I truthfully did?
What?
I went on YouTube and Google, I still remember the search bar, how to edit video on your phone, and then just watch YouTube videos. So like, I I basically backed myself into a corner and had to fight out of it because I was like, I put myself in a situation where I have to learn because I'm not making enough money. I need this $600 a month extra to live. So then I basically started by growing him from scratch on social media.
So you became from his client, from his student to his social media manager.
Yeah.
Okay. And before we dive into that, I'm gonna like rewind a bit. On like what gave you that determination and perseverance on like sticking through for like 2 or 3 years, working at minimum wage job and not giving up? Like what was in your mindset so that other people can relate, who are in the same position, who have not seen success for a long period of time?
Maybe I'm just stubborn, like genuinely. Like maybe I just like I just don't know when to give up, and I think that's like something that I've always had in life. Like I genuinely don't know when to give up. I don't give up. Like it's just like I will just keep fighting because like maybe like let's say like 1 or 2 years before that I started martial arts, and like my coach used to always say to me like, oh, you're a war dog, which basically means that like it doesn't matter like what's going on, you still just like if they're beating you up, you're still just gonna walk at them. Like that's my mentality. It's like I just keep going, keep going.
Because you're like so hungry for success.
I would just say like I'm extremely persistent no matter what. It wasn't even like the hunger for success. It was like I'm in such a bad situation right now. I don't want to be in this situation. I'm the only person that can get myself out of this situation.
Okay.
I just need to keep going.
Got it. That's a
And
really good mindset.
yeah, and I just kept going. And like it's all I could do because like I just wasn't content with the life I'm living. Like especially the job that I was working, it's very physical. Like and like for example, like I may be crawling around in someone's roof in 30-degree heat,
Wow.
dripping in sweat. I don't know if you know like what a loft is, but basically like for example,
Yes.
yeah, and they have like in the loft they have this like insulation stuff, like the fluffy looking stuff up there. Like that gets caught in your skin, it's itchy, you get covered in dust every day. And I'm looking at people who are like 30, 40 years old and their bodies are genuinely deteriorated for like £30,000 a year. And I'm like, that does not make sense to me, So I was just like, that's not really a life I want to live. I may like those people and have respect for them, but that's not a life that I want to live.
Yeah, there's a quote that, if your current situation is more painful than the desire, than the pain it takes to achieve success, then you get out of it.
Yeah.
Because for you sticking for 3 years, that is painful, but your current situation was more painful.
Yeah.
And you just didn't want to give up. You like want to crawl yourself out of the hole no matter what. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. Good.
Yeah. So of course, like I went through the whole like buying a bunch of courses, etc. And I was just failing, and like maybe it was delusion, but I just kept going.
That's amazing. And want to go to the mindset part of things because I think these two aspects are what a lot of people can benefit from, especially beginners. So you can really like take us from A to Z on like what did you learn from that mindset coaching call, like in as much detail as possible.
Yeah, so this is like very, very high level, but like I'm about to, I know he charges 20K for this right now, but we're filling it for free. But like basically like what he does is like it's a standard visualization manifestation. But I know because he's read a bunch of books, he's essentially took everything from the best books and compiled it. So he says like what you should do like when you first wake up is visualize. And he's saying you need to visualize a scene and the maximum length of time is 5 seconds, like 5 to 15 seconds, like long, roughly. And you need to visualize this scene, but within this scene, it's not just what you see, it's the ability to feel, it's the ability to smell, it's actually all of these other senses which people basically neglect. So you need to do that morning and night. But within the in between, you need to think from the end. And I think you got that from Neville Goddard. So you essentially need to sit there and think, okay, well, I have achieved this. Like, if your goal is to make 10K a month, right? You need to be talking to yourself like you're making 10K a month. You need to, like, random parts of the day, you need to get really excited because you're making 10K a month. You've done what you said you wanted to do. And you need to do that for an extended, long period of time until it happens. Like, he we did a test. We did a test on my girlfriend at the time. She wasn't very nice. She still isn't very nice. And like we had to get her to say something that was so crazy. And she had to say to me that she was the luckiest girl in the world. And she would never say something like that nice or show that much praise to me. But we got her to do it through that method. And he currently works with footballers, 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs using the same method. And William Brown's currently working with him. But that's the method. So it's like a lot of it is what you would call delusion, but it's also reinforcing the subconscious through the morning and night when it's most impressionable, when it's in that like theta state.
So let's say somebody wants to be a billionaire. So like the other day say, oh, I'm already a billionaire.
Yeah, yeah. It's thinking from the end at all times because it's like what we said earlier with Conor McGregor. In his head, he's already achieved those things, and he's acting like that guy. He is the guy. He might have had a cheap $100 suit on, but to him, it's $1,000 suit. You know what I mean? It's that delusion. It's literally fake it till you make it, but adding in that visualization, which is actually well, actually helps the subconscious mind.
Mm. Other than that, like what else?
So it's literally like thinking from the end, and like the main things is thinking from the end and the visualization. But when you visualize, you have to actually have the emotions in play, the like to actually feel the emotion, feel the warmth in your heart, feeling the hug from that person. And when you actually sit down and get into a really like meditative state, you can do that.
Yeah. How about like for somebody, cause like we we did that when we were like really young, like naive, when we didn't go through like as much hardships. Cause like I know like some students in our community or like some people I speak to, they're like in their 30s, like
Mm,
life has really knocked them down. They've gone through like a lot of hardships. Like
mm,
they just do not have the mood or like to like manifest this kind of like airy fairy thing, like oh
mm,
pretend I'm like already like a millionaire or something like that.
mm.
Like what would you, how would that be applicable to them?
That's a good question, but I feel like regardless of age, like the subconscious, like if you do the research and you read the books, like the subconscious mind is there for a reason. It doesn't distinguish time, space. Like all that matters is not your conscious mind, is your subconscious mind. So if you're able
Mm.
to impress it enough and you're able to stay at it for a long period of time, I think that's the hardest part, is like constantly tell yourself, be persistent, be consistent, and then eventually it will happen. But of course, you need to be taking action alongside that. Like you can't be doing this thinking, I'm going to make 10K a month, I'm going to make 10K a month, but like you're not doing anything to make that 10K a month. So I think if you pair that with the teachings of like, what are you doing every single day, the habits, the inputs, you will do it easily.
Okay. And you mentioned like you went through your other friend's program, John, on the mindset stuff. Is it basically the same thing, or is there like any other learning lessons you
Uh,
can share with
it's
people?
it's slightly different. So John's stuff, I lived with John for a long period of time. I don't think I told you that, but I lived with John for like a year.
Wow.
So I really saw him in full swing. But like a lot of John's stuff is like essentially like the basic framework is setting yourself like non-negotiables every day. So for example, wake up at a certain time, study for a certain amount of time. In the beginning, he says 10 minutes each. So you just study for 10 minutes, you read for 10 minutes, you meditate for 10 minutes, and you do 10 minutes of deep work. And let's say you wake up at 6 a.m. You just need to do that every day for 30 days. And once you've done that every day for 30 days, you bump up the time. But like within these meditations and stuff, you need to think about this person you want to become. Really sit down and think about, okay, well, what is the person that I want to become? And what's the difference? Like, what is that person doing every day that I'm not doing? Like, what is their daily routine like? Are they eating at a certain restaurant every day because they're making a certain amount of money now? Because it lifestyle inflation, right? So it's like figuring out the where you need to get to, what they're doing, and then implementing that into your life with the visualization. So then you could like combine the two of like John's inputs plus that method, and yeah.
Anything else, or is that it?
John's is a lot of psycho-cybernetic stuff as well. So like you said, it's like a lot of it's just like internal belief, which I think is where anything comes from. Like if there's no internal belief and you're feeling really down about yourself, like there's a vibrational frequency scale for a reason, right? At the very bottom, there's like shame, lust, and these certain vibrations, but like the top end of it is like enlightenment, happiness, and joy. So like and abundance. So like if you're essentially operating from the higher end of the frequency, you're gonna do really well regardless. And I know some people have said that there's one step above that, which is also authenticity. So like if you're authentically being yourself, that is like a step above everything else. Because like you got to think that like sometimes in some people's jobs and some people's lives, there's certain things that stopping them being who they actually want to be,
Mm,
which is probably making them not feel good about
mm.
themselves. But if they're able to do everything with joy, with love, with happiness and abundance, like you're just on a different frequency. I'm sure you can agree with that as well.
Totally agree. Like when someone's like in flow and really happy, healthy, everything's going well, like the vibrational frequency is just way higher.
And you are what you attract, right?
Yeah.
Like if you are on these higher end frequencies, you're a really loving person. Maybe like for example, you're tipping waiters at a restaurant, or you see a homeless guy on the road, you give him some money. From my experience, when you do things like that, like of course not with the intent of receiving, you
Yep.
do receive via like universal circulation. I have a story from my reselling days actually, where I got off a train once in Manchester, and the JD Sports used to open at 9. It's 9:10, and I just got out of the train station. I'm like, fuck. And I got to run to go get some shoes, right? But on the way, I see a homeless guy, and I'm like, my first thought is, no, 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 like, we'll give him some money later, we'll go to the store. But something in my intuition was like, no, just give him some money. So I gave him like £20, and so I told him to
That's
have
a
a nice
lot for
day.
you back then, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just told him to have a nice day. And then, like, by some miracle, I still remember them. There was these, like, for some reason, I go into JD and they have Dunk Low laser oranges, just one pair. This pair came out 2 or 3 months ago. They'd been sitting in some random JD somewhere, for some reason haven't sold out, and they went to a bigger branch. And someone didn't pick them up. But they were the most profitable shoe in that store.
Wow.
So I flipped like £90 to like £400 in the same day.
Wow.
So me giving the universal circulation, it came back to me.
Yeah, that's a really interesting story, that happened on the same day. And again, as you say, when we do good or give, it shouldn't have the intention of like wanting to receive
Mm,
back, but I think if we sort of cultivate ourselves to being like a better person, have like a good heart, whether there's like direct, attribution or whatever, I'm sure there are like some indirect benefits, of just like being a good person, operating at like a higher, like more positive, like pure frequency of not like wanting to like, like cheat or lie or, steal from people and all. And the opposite of like doing good and giving back to people.
Yeah, because like to be honest, like when you actually see a lot of people who aren't financially doing best, and you analyze their behaviors and how they're acting, they are usually on that lower end of the frequency. They're very angry. They're very like bitter. Like they'll look at someone successful and be like, they'll try and pick something bad out about them. Not like, well done, like I'm so happy for that person. They'll try and drag you down and things like that.
Yeah, that is true. But a caveat is, there are also a lot of people who are like financially well who are like not good people. you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think karma applies to some people and it doesn't apply to others. But
Not yet.
yeah,
Not yet.
like from what I've learned and my knowledge, that it applies to some people in this world, but others it's gonna hit them in another life.
Got it. Okay. So moving on to you being his social media manager, then what's next after that?
So like I started to be his social media manager. Of course, I'm like learning on the job as he's also progressing. So like, it basically got a point where I grew him from like 0 to like, I think it was like 40, 50K on TikTok and then like 30, 40K on Instagram. And like we've generated like tens of million views at this point. And then like I slowly started getting more clients. Like I started working with a guy in the UK who did like reselling. So he had a big reselling community.
But how did you get them as a client? Did
Word
they
of mouth.
approach?
Word of mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is your strategy on going viral?
Oh geez, that's like a bit technical, but it's like
Because for like a beginner, like who grew him on TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram and monetized so well, tens of millions of views,
Yeah.
there must be like a formula they can share with everybody.
we could use the age old quote like what is it? Essentially just like you could just steal a lot of what's already working. Like you could directly look at like, let's say you see a really viral video, maybe, yeah, and you just kind of need to figure out like why has this actually got views? Like is it engagement? Is it length of time? Because like for a video to go viral, it's basically just based on the watch time, how many times someone's watched it, and the engagement. So like for example, if you go on my Instagram, there's like a 7 or 8 second video. First of all, there's a lot of text on the screen. So like most people will probably have to watch it 1.5 times anyway. But then also it's extremely controversial to the point where people started commenting. And then when people started commenting, I started having arguments with them in the comments to engagement boost it. Like I remember like waking up one day, it was on 10K views. The next day it was on 100K views. The next day it was on 1 million views. And then I'm just sitting in the comments like rage baiting people. And then they're arguing with me. And then it just ended at like 5.7 million views. And that was the first video I posted. But what I did was I saw someone make similar video in terms of concept. Like the text was very similar, but the only thing that changed was the setting I was in and like slightly changed the narrative. But like the structure was kind of the same and the sound was the same. But I just like reverse engineered why it went viral and added my own elements into it. Like I saw a video on this the other day where a video went like the same concept went viral twice, where like there's a video of someone driving a car and they almost hit someone who's crossing the street, and the person throws a drink at the windscreen, and then like they pan round and it looks like this person's about to have a fight with them. Then they roll the window down and they present a product.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Yep,
about.
yep.
But someone's done that twice. So it's like it's easily replicable. Like if you just reverse engineer like what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Of course, depending where you are in the world is a big factor as well. If you're trying to, this is a big issue that a lot of people have, is like if you're in Thailand, for example, you live in Thailand full time, and you're an English guy who's moved there, make money online, etc. Your video is now getting pushed to Thai people who may not even speak English. So a lot of people shoot themselves in the foot that way. But like that's things that you can solve later down the line. But location also does matter, I would say.
You're saying like you're helping this reseller guy.
Yeah, so I then had these two clients. So I had Jay, who's a very successful guy now, both of them are. And then like during this period of time, I see another guy on Snapchat. Like it's this big Snapchat ecosystem, right? His name's Ryan, and he's living in Thailand. He's talking about he teaches people how to get clients through this site called Upwork. I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. So I then see he's selling a mentorship. So I get on a call with him. He closes me. So, but
How much was it?
I think it was like £2,000 or £3,000.
Okay.
So, which of course, like in terms of like income, like what I was making was probably like still more than what I was making a month. So I joined this program, but like I think like what you said, I must have just took action immediately.
Mhm.
And I through this Upwork platform, I got another client within a week,
Wow.
and like a week of like applying. Because the difference with Upwork is it's not like sending outbound messages on Instagram. It's people are looking for a job and you just apply for it as a freelancer, which is still like SMMA, right? So I do that. I land a client and
For what services?
video editing and like
Okay.
social media management. So I did that and I was like, oh, this is, I got another client. Great. It might have been only like $400, but it doesn't matter, right? And so as I'm working with Ryan, he's like, oh, like you edit videos for people and like they get views. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you could do that for me. I'm like, yeah. So I started making videos for Ryan. You can't see it now because I privated all the videos on the channel, but basically it got to a point where I was getting this guy like 3 or 4 million views a month
Wow.
on like YouTube Shorts and Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So he was like, "Oh, like you're good at this." He was like, and then during this period of time, of course, I'm being an entrepreneur, doing my things. So I work 8 hours a day. I go to the gym, and now I've got 3 or 4 clients.
Hmm.
I haven't got a life.
You're working a full-time job.
Yeah,
Wow.
with 4 clients.
Wow.
And basically, the issue was I also had a girlfriend who wanted attention,
Who want attention?
but we lived together.
Okay.
So it was like I'm sleeping 4 hours a night every single day to get the work done. I'm barely
Wow.
talking to her. I'm just working. So like during this time, there's a bunch of friction between me and her. And I can still remember this to this day, and she can quote you on this. She sits me down and looks me in the eye and said, "It's either you quit the business or we break up."
Wow, that is so crazy.
And of course, I was like, "We're breaking up."
What a crazy ultimatum.
Yeah, so she gave me the ultimatum.
How long were both of you together
Three
for?
and a half years.
That is a long time.
Yeah.
Did you have the same feeling like this was like the most painful thing on planet Earth?
Oh
or-
no, we haven't got to the pain yet. We haven't got to the pain.
Okay.
Yet. So, like my intention has always been because I've come from nothing. I look back at my generations and I want to leave generational wealth. So like that's why I said break up with her. I'm like 20 years old. I can always get another girlfriend. It's not that bad, right? It's true though, isn't it? Like I had to be logical because when like people say like you find the love of your life in your 20s, they're like shut up. Like, you're joking.
Yep.
So we break up. And I moved back in with my mom. I'm just like doing normal life stuff, whatever. And we decide to meet up one day and just like talk. And during this talk, she turns around and she tells me like, "Oh, I've been seeing someone else within this period of time." And then she goes, "Oh, so you know him, and he's a friend of yours." So I this is the day I unlocked the power of intuition, right? So she refused to tell me who this person was. So I click on her Instagram profile and I go on the likes on one of her pictures. She doesn't even know that I did this, but went on the likes on one of her pictures. There's hundreds of likes, right? I scroll, I scroll, I scroll. And I see a name and I felt a pain in my heart that I've never felt before.
There's a friend.
It was my intuition told me that it was him. So I messaged him on Snapchat.
But was that your friend or like?
Yeah. Like
You knew
my
him?
childhood friend,
Oh,
who like I was friends with when I was a teenager. Very good friends with, and I introduced him into the situation. Like as he was basically her friend as well. But basically, like he came into the situation when she was at an all-time low.
With you.
Oh, like when we broke up, he was like messaging her still, and he was the shoulder to cry on. So like
got
men,
it.
like what I've learned, men are opportunists.
Yep.
So he was just waiting for his opportunity, and he took it, as any weak man would, right? So I then message him, and basically what happened was she starts spam calling my phone, and I was like, yeah, I was right. So basically, I found out with 2 weeks after breaking up with her, she started fucking one of my friends. And to this day, they still live together in the place that I used to live with her.
So that friend is still together with her
Yeah,
today.
yeah, to this day.
And that happened 2 weeks after
Yeah.
both of you broke up.
So during this period of time, I'm getting really good results for Ryan, and Ryan turns around.
But just going back to that for just a second, like, what pain were you feeling back then? Like,
Oh, this was like the most pain I've ever went through in my life.
same.
Yeah, I was like, because like I just couldn't believe that someone was capable of doing that to someone after being with them for so long.
Oh, got it.
Like, and that's where I started to understand like female psychology a bit more. I won't get into it because it's controversial, but I understand them very well now.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, if they're willing to stab you in the back so quickly because the tables have turned, like, that's crazy. So I was in so much pain, and I was in that situation of like, I need my mindset. Oh no, wait. This is crazy. So whilst I was with her, I was watching a lot of Andrew Takes. That's when he first blew up. And one thing she said to me, and this still sits with me to this day, when she like I found out she did all these things to me, she went, "Okay, you'll be okay, because Andrew Tate gets out of prison soon. You can just watch him, and you'll be all right." Yeah, like, very cold, isn't it? Like very cold behavior. So going back to it.
So I didn't get the part.
So basically, like, because he was like a good inspirational figure to me for like self improvement, she was like, you don't worry, like you're not gonna be sad for too long that I've just started fucking your friend. Andrew Tate's gonna get out of prison soon, so you can watch him and improve your life again.
Got it.
Very cold remark.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to it. So Ryan, like during this time, I was still getting great success with Ryan. I was going to the gym a lot more. I was in that, like, you could call it villain arc or whatever you want to call it. And then Ryan hit me with the offer, like, oh, so do you want to, since you're getting really good results, do you want to come move in with me in Thailand? We have a 5-bedroom villa. We have a room available. You don't have to pay the rent. You just have to quit your job. So okay. So I just handed in my notice at my job. I was making the same amount of money as my job, and just flew to Thailand. Never been there before. One-way plane ticket on my own.
And how old were you?
21, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. And like to some people that might be crazy, but like I think my brain is just wired for risk, because what's the worst that could happen?
Yep.
I could just go get a job anywhere. I could always just go back.
Mm.
Like that's what
Yep.
people don't understand. Like when you're young, you need to take these crazy risks,
Yep.
or you never will.
Yep.
You don't want to regret it and say, "Oh, I wish I did."
Yeah, and it's not just that, like, when we are at our youngest, that's when, like, the ability to take risks has, like, the lowest risk, like, the more we age, the ability to take risks decreases because there are, like, more liabilities and stuff,
Mm,
Yeah, so it's like
exactly.
the youngest we'll ever be. This is like the lowest risk in terms of like risk taking it would ever be,
Exactly. So I was just like, what's the worst that could happen? Everyone who I was friends with at the time was just still working regular jobs and stuff. I was like, I'm already doing better than most of them. Like, I may as well just take it to that next level and live with people who were multimillionaires, and I was nothing. So I'm essentially getting mentored by him and his business partner in person as well, because I'm learning a lot from them. When I moved to Thailand, I then got my eyes open to a completely different circle of people, and being introduced to people who invested in Bitcoin in 2012. People who were like 40, 50 years old, worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and they're just my friend. So it's like my eyes are opening massively, and I'm getting like a bunch of gems during this period of time.
Can you like walk through that journey in excruciating detail so that at least we can, like, the audience can benefit? Like, what's it like to like live in a same house with like multimillionaires? Like, what did you learn? What did you pick up from?
Yeah.
Then like when it comes to like the inner circle with the friends who are like
Yeah.
really wealthy, like what did you learn? You know?
It's like it's very interesting because the two business partners were very different people. One of them was mentored one to one by John Gab. Shout out to Tyrell, the Crypto King. He's a big YouTuber, like 90,000 subscribers. And basically, like, he was very stoic, very into having the stable routine, waking up very early, doing the meditation, doing the work blocks, and all of that kind of stuff. Jiu-jitsu, gym, like, because he had a sports upbringing. Whereas Ryan was like, best way to describe him is he's the guy behind the scenes. He'll wake up whenever he wants to, but he gets the shit done to a very high level.
He doesn't. He's not a routine kind of person.
Not, he is now, but back then he wasn't. Like, he was just able to like stay up till 3, 4 a.m. I've seen this guy close $30,000 deals over a Telegram call with no face on, like no video call. So like I'm seeing two completely different perspectives on things, and it like opened my eyes a lot to like of course you can succeed either way. It's kind of just finding what's the best path for you. And unfortunately or fortunately for me, I was more inclined to like Ryan because we just got along better. But during that period of time, I was a bit wishy-washy. So like I wasn't really having the structured routine, and I found out that that doesn't work for me in the long run. I know that now, but like during the period of time, it was really nice. I was getting introduced to like really big crypto people. Like I'm just knowing them by first name. Like I don't actually know anything about them in terms of like how big they are. But like I'm meeting like people who like people like they would call them like OGs in crypto. Like people like really expect their opinion, look up to them, think it's crazy. So I'm just like being around these people, and it's just like going to dinner with them, spending time with them on the weekend, and it's really like opening your eyes to their mindset, right? Because like even like I remember Joel, he's known as Coach K, like he said something once, and it was like he would always drop gems. He's like a genius, right? And like it's little mindset things. Like we go to like a beach club, and then like minimum spend is 10,000 baht, which is like $230, and he'd be like, we always spend more than that anyway. But like to someone who's come from nothing, that would be associated with a lot of money to spend on food. So it's like little mindset things where you kind of have to get rid of these limiting beliefs of, oh, that's a lot of money, and it kind of becomes normal. And even he says, like, he said something once where you really need to strive for uncomfortable situations for growth. Like,
Yep.
for example, if you don't like going to, like, let's say a martial arts class, because you go there and you get beaten up and it's really uncomfortable. But you know in the long run you're benefiting as a person. And it's like, it's such a mental battle to go there, and it makes you so uncomfortable, and you don't like getting beaten up every day. In the long run, eventually you're going to turn from the hammer to the nail. First of all, you're going to get beat up for so long to where you get good and it's okay. But because you're pushing through that discomfort, you're going to progress in all areas of life. I'm sure you could agree with that.
Yep.
Um, but like a very interesting thing as well is that around like 3 months in of living with them, we needed to go to Dubai. So Tyrell was like, I need you to come. I need you to help me with some things, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, I go to Dubai. And within like 1 week of being there, he introduces me to Carl the Moon. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yep. I know.
Yeah, so it then goes like, and then like going from seeing people who I saw on YouTube to working in his office because he's a friend. So it's like all of these normalized things, and then seeing a Bugatti parked out of his office, which he owns with his name on it, and then like your eye is just opening like differently. Like this is like a different paradigm of life completely. And I even met a Bit Boy, if you know who he is.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember just seeing some like guy walk in the office in a Gucci tracksuit. I was like, he definitely takes drugs. Like, because I know, but like it was, I got my eyes open to all of these things. And interestingly enough, uh, within that time in Dubai, I met Luke Belmar for the first time. And regardless of like controversy or whatever, like current time, past time, we sat down with him for like 3 to 4 hours and had a conversation. Like I learned so much.
What did you learn?
It was a very high level conversation. Majority of it was like about conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But like he gave a book to us. Have you heard of it, Millionaire Master Plan by Roger Hamilton?
Think so.
So like he wasn't telling people online about this at this time.
Why not?
So it's a hack.
Okay.
It's a hack because essentially like in the book it's like there's a pyramid, right? And it's like associated by light, colors, and it's like basically where you are in business. And like for example, if you're a freelancer, you're at a certain level. But if you're a business owner and you own employees, you're at a certain level. If you're someone who has a bunch of money and you just essentially like buy companies and have a portfolio of companies, you're at the top level. So it's like it basically tells you the actionable steps that you need to take to get to that level. Very high level book. So I do recommend that. So we met him, um, like helped him organize some events in Dubai as well. So of course we got credibility with him, etc. Um, but yeah, I met a lot of interesting people very, very quickly.
I think I want to circle back to all this, but just moving forward, like you became sort of like a growth operator, which basically you work with like coaches, personal brands to help them like monetize your like their back end operations for a lot of things. How did you get into this space? Like, what are your clients like all cumulatively like doing a month or a year? So we have like some
Yeah.
sense of size and stuff.
Yeah, so like I don't really talk about what I do that much, but like some stats about me if we're talking like in general, like as a total right now, I've done like 150 million views on social media, and as a total, I've generated 7 figures for clients. And in growth operating in particular, I've only been in it for like 1 year.
Before that, like,
So basically, what happened was I was getting people a bunch of views on social media, but that doesn't correlate with money.
yep.
And it was like, I basically realized that, cool, you can just get people views, but it's not necessarily going to make them money.
Yep.
So like I then had to figure out the rest of that process. So it was like I was really good at organic, but beyond that, there's way more pieces to the puzzle. It's like, how do you then get leads from that? So I basically realized, okay, I'm good at this. Now let's just start grabbing all the different things and get good at it. So, for example, my first client, I found him in like February, March time.
How like
So luckily, like through the people I've worked with, I have a lot of weight. Like when I say their names in with people in England, like they're established. Like people will, I have authority based on who I've worked with. So basically, like I was just talking to this guy. I saw him on Instagram. He just hit like 10,000 followers, and I'm like, this guy's gonna blow. I feel it. So I send him a message. I'm like, hey bro, like these are the people I've worked with. I'm sure you know them. We have some mutual friends. Let's have a chat. So he was making nothing from his business. I was like, I built the offer from the ground up. Like this guy had 10,000 followers. He was getting some motion online, and it was like, right. Whilst I got this client, I was also like figuring some pieces of the puzzle out. I didn't get the chance to implement it. So it's like I'm learning and implementing at the same time. So he, like his only main following is Instagram, like YouTube, I would potentially call it non-existent, but like he doesn't get lead from there. But from like within like 2 months of me like getting everything going and learning, I got him to 40K a month just from standard appointment setting book a call funnel at like 10K followers. And then I was like, okay, things are going really well. And like we've just been consistently like hitting that point until like we encountered some issues which um I don't know if I could say like publicly, but like all I could say is I got put in a very interesting situation where um I didn't have to help that person um in terms of like let's say like financially they got in like 20K worth of debt. They spent all of their money. And I was in a situation where like team members, like do you know, like the Sam Millsap situation, team members were unpaid, people were unhappy, and I basically saved that situation within a month and turned it around into a positive.
How like
Just made him the money back and just figured it out. Like the same thing with my life is like,
but he went into that because of his own actions
yeah,
of like spending the money on
spending,
like
yeah.
personal life
Yes,
stuff.
because obviously, like he went from like making not that much money to
Uh,
making a lot really quickly. So it's like fast money, right? So
mm,
like you said in our other episode, like when you first get that money, you just blow it.
yep.
But he did it to another extent. And of course, like during this time, I was living with the person and stuff like that. So it was like friction was high, and I basically got him out of a really big hole,
Mm.
saved the team members because like I'm like it's the same as that Sam Millsap situation. Like the team was owed like 20K, I was owed like 15K, and it was like a really fucked up situation to be in. And I didn't have to save it. Didn't like I could have just walked away, but I was like I kind of felt like I was the only person capable of fixing the situation. And first things first, like we made the money back and I just got the team paid first. I was
And
like,
you did it through like the organic content, drive leads.
yeah. Just
Okay.
appointment set, book a call funnel. Yeah, just all organic. So I saved that situation within like a month.
Okay.
But like going back to like current clients right now, um, collectively, like they're doing like 6 figures a month. But this is still without some like big launches that I'm about to do. So
Mm.
like I have like one launch that I can't really talk about too much because of NDAs and stuff, but I'm projecting that to do 6 to 7 figures on its own. And that's just essentially going to be, of course, from organic, but this person has like 150K subs on YouTube. And then we're going to also combine that with ads as well. So we're going to be running YouTube ads, Facebook ads, and of course, you know, with webinars, is like fill it up as much as possible, and then it's basically a numbers game, isn't it? Based on like the show rate, how many people stay towards the end of the webinar, how many people actually book a call from the webinar, what's the show rate and the close rate, etc. So that's essentially a numbers game, and I've got like a couple of clients that I think I've got like 2 or 3 people launching in February, which I will use that funnel for. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to, because I think, just want to cater to people watching to keep things a bit more like, simple and basic.
Mm.
Let's go back and more like relevant and like relatable and like
Mm.
applicable to most people. I think what would be very useful is like ongoing viral on social media since
Mm.
that's your strength. And I think that's a superpower. If you know how to generate views, like generally, you can generate income as a
Yeah.
byproduct of it.
Yeah.
So like if you're able to like share like all the how you get views, like all the hacks,
Yeah.
and
So
the
like
secrets and all that.
I was gonna say like as of recently, there's an AI out there that I feel like is dominating in terms of research, and that's Manus. Like this is what I would do first of all is like if you're like let's say you're in the UGC niche, right? What you would do is you would get on Manus. Maybe you can do it on a free plan. I'm not too sure, but you would get it to sign into your Instagram account and save you time in terms of research. Like give it a bunch of links and say like do all this research for me. Let's look at all of the best performing videos. Grab all of the best performing videos and essentially reverse engineer like why they're going viral and then do like what I did with my video. Like what like can we keep like the hook the same in terms of like the visual structure or whatever? And like what can we just change in that formula to make it go viral? So just start tweaking things. Like don't copy it word for word, but clearly that formula works for some reason. Like in the video I did, like it was like me taking off my shoe and like and the whole idea was like me basically saying like people who fly first class don't really wear designer clothes. And it was me showing my shoe was from Zara. But the video that went viral was someone sat in a Porsche basically showing Laura Piana shoes. So it's like the visual hook was still the same in terms of like what was going on, but it was just the text was different. So like I just changed one aspect of that and it went really, really viral. So you can look at, like, do the research on Manus, see what creators are going extremely viral within your niche, and then just start tweaking things, but just don't copy it bit by bit. But like one thing, one thing I would say is just because something goes viral doesn't necessarily mean it's going to convert as well. Like you do need to also understand that top of funnel content where you're just driving attention is going to do so much. You still need to be able to convert that. Maybe if you're smart, you'll do like a many chat CTA in there as well, so you'll generate leads. But like I would just mainly say, look at what's working right now, and do some research using the AI. Then second of all, like see what in the formula you can tweak and just replicate it and see what result you get and just like keep going like that. But also see like organically like what you can come up with in your own head, so you're just not copying people, you know?
I know you're like a big AI guy, like you're on the cutting edge of like using different AIs.
Yeah.
So like I think another thing that would be very applicable to most people
Mm.
is like what are the top AI tools you use and how do you use it? Like what are the best use cases for it?
Yeah, so like everyone knows standard ChatGPT, but like I would only really use ChatGPT right now for just simple like questions maybe, and like maybe get an external opinion. Like if you want to do anything as far as like copywriting goes, like you want to use Claude for that. So I would say like Claude has a way better model than ChatGPT, and the copywriting comes out way better, but you may need to feed it information first. Like you may need to feed it some documents informing it about what's going on, give it a really good prompt, but the copywriting that it produces, and I've shown you that it produces really good copy, but you just need to know how to use it. Whereas ChatGPT, it doesn't really come up with much. But my main three is ChatGPT, which I don't really use anymore, Manus, and then also Claude. But I think Manus is like, it is a research tool, but also this is something very interesting you can do. You can get it to make websites for you as well. So I could grab your ClickFunnels, put it in Manus and say, copy this website, and it will just steal the code from your website and then remake your website and give you the template. And it can also make like slideshows. I think it does, I don't know, I think it's called like Nano 3 or whatever. It can do all of that stuff. Like it's a very, very good tool, and you can also make AI agents with it to automate things. Like you could essentially remove a VA and just use Manus. I could get my Manus right now to log into my WhatsApp and send you a message. Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. So like, and I know that Meta just acquired it for like 4 billion. So that summarizes.
How about like the other AI tools like Poppy and all that? Do you still use those?
I
or
still
like
use Poppy, but I feel like
for like what?
I think Claude is actually better than Poppy, in my opinion. If you can prompt Claude good enough and feed it the correct information, the copywriting capabilities seem to be
But
better.
Poppy is usually like, let's say, like YouTube thumbnail designs and stuff that Claude isn't able to generate images,
Yeah, in my opinion, if you're gonna do like thumbnails, like I would always, for thumbnails, I would just get a thumbnail editor.
Or like video ideas,
I think for video ideas it's good, but like I have a system that is better.
Using Claude.
Yeah, but that's gatekept because that was paid. I had to pay for that. But
Okay.
my current system is way better.
Okay.
Like I've tested the two because I played around with it when I was helping you with some stuff, and I think Poppy is good, but you should like when you get something from Poppy and Poppy says it's 10 out of 10, grab it and put it in Claude. Ask Claude what it thinks about it, and Claude will say it's like 7 out of 10. And then like you constantly need to ask the AI like how good actually is this in terms of going viral, like in your opinion, how psychologically impactful is this? And then you can just tweak it, get external opinions, get a ChatGPT opinion, get a Claude opinion, and then ask Claude to improve it. So you can get it from one place, put it in another place, and then use that to iterate it basically.
Do you use like Gemini, DeepSeek, like Grok or not?
No, because I feel like sometimes you can just go too deep down the rabbit hole,
Like it's unlimited.
Yeah, but like one thing I do find really good if we're talking like content is Opus. I think Opus is really good. Only if you use it to find clips. For like actual editing, I would still give it to a video editor, but like this podcast, for example, if you wanted to clip it up, plug it into Opus, and from what I've seen, like the clips that they actually say go viral do have viral potential. It's just removing the text and all of the rubbish emojis and just giving that to an editor and saying, what can you do with this?
Interesting.
Because there's something that I actually left out is I've ran multiple affiliate programs like Clippers before it was known as Clipping. So like what I used to do is I used to do this for free out of the love for actually helping and teaching people. Because my name in numerology is 33, which means teacher. So I actually enjoy helping people. So I spoke to this guy. He was running an ecom community called Ecom Palace, and it was the biggest organic dropshipping community in the UK. And we had a team of like 20 to 30 affiliates, and we had we were generating 10 to 20 million views a month across Instagram and TikTok with all of the clippers. And I would teach them from ground zero. Like still have all the Notion documents of teaching them how to edit videos, using Opus, using these podcast clips and clipping them up and distributing them across like the same, like it'd just be like the guy was called HK Vibin. So it'd just be HK Vibin clips and just Instagram, TikTok, blah, blah,
So you
blah.
use like Opus clips to identify like the viral clips, and you get the editors to like edit in different formats and styles.
During that period of time, there wasn't AI. So do you want me to tell you what I used to have to do? I'd have to watch the podcast 2 times,
Wow,
timestamp, write it down.
that is crazy.
I'd have to manually timestamp it. So then, like, once you have timestamps, you know what's being spoken about in certain places, you can then start creating narratives. Like, and that's when you can get really techy and create some interesting videos. But at its peak, that server had 20,000 members.
How much was it making a month with that
It was
community?
like 6 figures off low ticket, like mid 6 figures a month.
That's amazing that the clippers, the clips, the viral clips actually convert. Like,
Yeah.
Were you paying the clippers like per view or like?
Yeah, so like I think the way that we were doing it at that time, you could pay them per X amount of views. Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't too advanced with like UTM links or anything. It was just like you get X. If you get 1 million views, you get like £1,000.
So we just got like 4 more minutes. Just wanna final two question is like, what are like your use cases for like Menace? Because I think that's something that a lot of people can benefit from, you know. And you are like an extensive AI user, so like, how can people use Menace? You know.
Just use it to save yourself some time, because at the end of the day, like especially if you're working a job and things like that, this is just a tool that you can get to do tasks for you in the background. Like whilst you go to the toilet, Manus is working for you and it can give you a notification on your phone. If you ask it to go research, for example, the people with the most amount of followers in the AI automation niche, log it into your Instagram and it's literally going to go onto all of their profiles, save you the time and effort, and essentially just save you a bunch of time, save you a bunch of headspace, most importantly, and deliver the task way quicker and way more efficient than probably you or a VA, because that's like a VA task, right? Because like I'm sure like when you think of it right now, you're probably thinking I could save a lot of time and not have to pay a VA to do certain things for me anymore. So it's like it's just saving you a bunch of time, and it's also potentially saving you money as well if you are paying a VA to do those tasks. And my friend recently used it on Upwork to automate a client's workload, and I believe he profited $15,000 for $400 of credits because he created an AI agent that would do tasks like go onto this website and troubleshoot it, because he was trying to break the website for these developers, so they would fix it. So he automated it with prompts, and he spent $400 to make like 15,000.
Wow. The final question is like, what, you know, you asked me on my deathbed, like what final like words do I have? So I'll throw the question back to you. Like, what would you leave the audience with? You know, can be about business, life, both,
What if I was on my deathbed?
or anything, just anything that you can leave the audience with.
Hmm. So for me, I'll drop a little nugget. I would say that, like, in my opinion, what we are put on this planet for is to just become the best version of ourselves possible. like regardless of like what barriers are in front of us, what things are going on in our life, we should always just strive to be the best person we can possible, whether that's physically, financially, spiritually, all of these areas. And as long as you can get on your deathbed and at the end of the day and say like, I tried my absolute best and I feel like I have become the best version possible with no regrets, then you've done a good job.
I think that is a really good advice. Like, at our last breath, like saying that, oh, we have really like maximized and like done the most we can out of this life. That is amazing. So thanks, Harley, for, this episode.
Yeah, I'm sure you've learned a lot from me, about me anyway.